Jamal Niaz here with the legend Mike Perry. As I mentioned last year, I was at the MVP Bare Knuckle main event in this very building. Probably the best bare knuckle fight of all time. So to be here, surprising everyone. No one knew that you was going to be here as the mystery secondary standing opponent for the Logan Paul Dillon Danis fight. Because man, do we need that. Dillon Danis is the most unreliable main event fighter. We all want to see Danis versus Logan Paul, but you couldn't get a better backup fighter than yourself. So what did you make of the main event?
Well, props to Logan for, trying to challenge himself. I think he's a little crazy to fight me. I don't think it's the time for him to fight me at this point in his career. He hasn't had a fight in a while. But none of them seem to think Dillon's coming. I'm like, and it costs him $100,000 if he doesn't show up. Why would he not show up? Is he like, I don't know, but they said he's good at getting the clout and he'll make money off of his tweets and posts, and I'll be ready. I stay ready. I'm always training. I'm in the gym sparring, fighting, lifting weights, putting in my road work. So a couple more weeks of that, man, I'll be a problem.
Why don't you put it to him? I mean, Darren Till's mentioned that he'd like to fight Logan Paul. This is a Misfits card. Why don't you just say, the Logan Paul fight's not happening, let's get Darren Till in Manchester, northwest England. Everyone wanted to see that fight since you got the Spa thing confused all those years ago.
Yeah.
So, is that a possibility? Could we see you guys box?
That's a good call out, man. I mean, I didn't even think of that because I've been calling him out for Bare Knuckle. Bare Knuckle's trying to get that, but I'm already here in England. I was talking about Anthony Taylor talking shit on Twitter, and Darren Till, we could put the gloves on since you're scared to do it bare knuckle. I'll knock you out with 8-ounce gloves on. So, I'll be ready to fight. I'm training. I'll be a stand-in. They got to pay me regardless. I'm here for a check, and then that check could get a lot bigger if I'll be fighting on the card. That card could get a lot bigger if I'm fighting on the card, especially a name like Darren Till. That'd be a fun fight. It
really would be a fun fight. I hope it happens at some point. I'd like it more in bare knuckle, though, to be honest, because you both are just absolute savages. Yeah, and I know that you'll go for a drink after.
The bare knuckle thing, that's the thing, man. A lot of these guys don't want to do it with me. I think Darren's thinking about it, but he's also on a skid, meaning, he hasn't done well in his fights in a little bit. Maybe that's a reason for him to train. He's posting boxing videos. Listen, I'm not going to try to think about what's in their head, man. These guys know I'm ready to fight. I'm here. These other guys, they don't really want to fight me. They didn't really bring me up on stage as a stand-in until all the drama went down. And it's like, look, if Dillon decides to be dramatic and not come, then Mike Perry's standing in. But, it doesn't matter to me. I'm ready to fight now. I'm ready to fight tomorrow, the next day, the next day, the next day, every day this year, every day for the rest of my life, every night. I'll be ready to fight and win against whoever it is.
What about Conor McGregor, man? That was probably the most iconic moment in bare knuckle history. I mean, the props to yourself, how you've gone and, like he said, just become the king of bare knuckle, from going to the UFC to making a lot of money in bare knuckle, and to him giving props to yourself. That's the dream fight, isn't it? That's what you want.
Listen, I'm doing good. My family's doing good. Whoever they want me to fight, my money's already on paper. Substantial contract is in my name, and I'm ready to fight. Like I said, I was grateful to Conor. Conor's done a lot of his work years ago. He came up in the 145 division. He cut the weight. He brought more fans and eyeballs to the sport than ever. So to have the face-off with him, I only give him his respect. And, like I said, I see him practicing the stuff. And, he's down, man. He's definitely game for it. So if we can make these things happen, if I can continue, and I will continue my success, fight any one of these guys, man. I end up fighting a Fury when he's 20-0, Tommy Fury versus Mike Perry. If he I think he'll beat KSI. No offense to KSI, but that's just what I think, and that's my opinion. So it doesn't, you can think what you want. And my opinion is I'll beat any fighter, boxer on the planet if you put me in the ring to box him.
You know, so you gave us your prediction for KSI Tommy Fury. What's your prediction for Logan versus Dillon if that fight happens? And then what have you made of Dillon's tactics on social media? Because it's caused like chaos online, hasn't it? It's caused absolute chaos. To go for Logan's fiance like that, it's you're playing with fire with any man doing that sort of thing, aren't you?
Yeah, but you know, it seemed like Logan wasn't letting it get to him and get inside his head. They're used to that stuff. They've had the cameras in their face for years. They're good at a press conference and things like that. And he does the WWE. They put on shows, and that's banging up his body with athleticism. And, you know, and I sparred Jake, and I've heard about Logan's boxing ability. But, I mean, and I don't know how Dillon Danis boxes. Last I knew, I saw him sparring Pereira. He looked okay. But Pereira's tall, Logan's tall, and if he shows up, and Logan's definitely going to be thinking about the stuff that he posted that he wants to put damage on him, man. I mean, I would assume that Logan would train smart enough to know how to beat Dillon, the shorter opponent, in a boxing match, and the guy was a grappler. So, you know, I think Logan could get the win if Dillon comes, and if he doesn't, then I'll get the win.
You like turning it on in fight week. You like screaming in guys' faces, trying to get them to flinch in the face-offs. You know, you mentioned that Logan's a pretty cool guy. You've not got much animosity towards him, but all that changes come fight week, doesn't it? Yeah,
the energy builds. My energy built today. You know, we were wanting to do face-offs and shit, but it's like, you know, I faced off with Luke, and he was always trying to, like, because he wanted the MMA. And he tried to grab me in that choke, and it's like, it's all fun and games, man. I can have fun with it. I'm a professional. I've been doing this a long time. I feed my family. But in boxing, it's different when they say go, and I can just start hitting you. Because at like a press conference, I'm not just going to start swinging these punches because everybody on stage is going to, it's going to be crazy at that point if I just start trying to knock somebody out. But in a fight, I'm finally free. Once I'm in the ring, I'm free to be who I really want to be. And that's a dangerous man to stand in front of, bro. I change people. I change them. Like, when you wake up the next day, you're going to be changed forever.
You know, a fight that I'd like to see with yourself, whether it's bare knuckle or boxing, Nate Diaz. I mean, that just has war all over it. Is that something that you've ever thought about? And, you know, there's an opportunity to say that there. He's gone into this influencer scene now with the Jake Paul fight recently, and it was a decent fight. It was a back and forth war. He gave a great account of himself against, you know, a young guy. Different game though, isn't it?
I look at the winners. I want to fight the winners, the guys who have succeeded and want to challenge themselves. I want to challenge myself. Not saying that because you've lost you can't come back and win, but I just didn't see that boxing ability from him. No offense, Nate Diaz, you know, he's mostly a grappler, MMA guy. He hits you with the flurry punches and then grab your neck. So, you know, I'm not sitting here trying to call out all these. I mean, if people want to see the fight, listen, I got fights on contract. We can make fights. I've been calling these names: Darren Till, Logan Paul, Jake Paul, KSI, Tommy Fury. Who else? I mean, the Darren Till is one of the realer fighters out of that group that people know of. Who are the other ones? We can make the fights. Anybody.
And Misfits Pro Boxing Tournament, I know that you mentioned that before. MVP. Is MVP on that? Because he's a free agent, and I know that he turned up to the UFC fight, you know, teasing that could potentially be on the card in UFC London.
If he is a free agent, I know his team and him are trying to get to where they want to go. If they have goals and things that they want to accomplish, you know, props.
But you're down for
handle your business. I'm ready to fight, man. Whoever wants to fight, wherever that fight is, whoever it is, whatever that means, let's get it.
Final one, MMA door. That's not firmly shut yet, and which organisation would you go back with? Would it be the UFC definitely, or rumours of PFL acquiring
They were talking
Bellator?
about me fighting Bradley Martin in a street fight, so that would have been like an MMA-ish type of deal. I'm open to fight, but
Bradley Martin.
I'm Bare Knuckle. I'm property of Bare Knuckle. Whoever wants to do business with David Feldman, they know that, I'm a little bit for sale, man. These hands are for sale. So whoever wants to get punched in their face, holler at me.
Awesome. Really appreciate the time, brother. Thank you, man.